Hi, Tasha. My husband of 10 years pretended and lied to me about being fertile and told me that I was the infertile one. Meanwhile, the only reason we never had a child was him. Hi, guys. Welcome to another wonderful episode of the Jen and Jacob podcast. Today, we're going to be going through a series of anonymous DMs that I have gotten over the week. And of course, I have their permission to share with you today. The tea is steaming. In fact, I came with my own tea because this episode has all the tea. This episode, like I said, has all the tea, and you definitely don't want to skip a moment of this one. We're going to be reading out this DM and we're going to be addressing it and sharing our thoughts. I am going to be giving my own perspective and what I think about the issue, and I hope you would share with me your thoughts in the comments. Let's get into it. Hi, Tasha. Please help me share this with your community. You see men and trying to eat their cake and have it. This was supposed to be a comment under the post you made about the lady granting her husband a divorce. This was my ex husband then, of 10 years of marriage, and there was no child. All efforts to get this man to do fertility tests failed. Every time I brought it up, he made one excuse or the other. In fact, he started making me feel bad and making me feel like I was the infertile one. His mother and his families were not helping issues. Every single time, they kept asking me questions, and I wondered why they never asked him any question. Then I moved abroad, and a few months later, I brought him abroad to join me as well. And I finally decided that he either had this test or something had to change because he had started acting weird and he was always insulting me. That I will soon realize that I'm the problem when I see evidence that he is fertile. Anyway, with this insult, and even though this insult kept driving me nuts, I finally decided it was time for us to go have this test together. We go do the test, and his test failed. The doctor specifically told him that he was infertile, and I was okay. I later found out that this man had been dating and trying for a child outside. I almost ran mad. And then one day I saw a message from his girlfriend where whom he had rented an apartment with, and they were already furnishing it up. Guys, this guy was doing all this and buying stuff in that house with my credit card. As I filed for divorce straight away and kicked him out to go live with his madam. Guess who got pregnant and got into a relationship 2 months after? Me. Wow. I wanted you to share this with your community members because so many times we hear stories of Nigerian women abroad divorcing their husbands, chasing their husbands out of the house, and taking over their properties or taking all the money they have. You also hear a lot of weird stories about alimony and so much more. But nobody ever asks Nigerian women what they go through in the hands of Nigerian man. The kind of shege that we see from these men abroad is ridiculous. Every time I hear stories about how women came from Nigeria and how they finally divorced their husband because they started earning money, etc., it's very quite sad. Women go through a lot in the hands of Nigerian men, especially men like my husband. Anyways, guess who came back and started begging to come back? He even said that he doesn't mind being a dad to my unborn baby. I told him that I have already blessed his relationship with the other woman, so he needs to go and live happily ever after. Because God forbid I go back to the Egypt I survived. Those species are a special breed of selfish and crazy. Wow. Let's unpack this entire DM. First of all, I want to say that I am incredibly proud of this woman. I am proud of her activeness. I'm proud of her precise action. I am proud of the fact that she saw something that she could no longer take and she left that situation. I am proud. And I say this because it is especially difficult for Nigerian women to live bad marriages. We all know how it goes here. For a woman to pick up strength and then decides that she's done, and she's moving on, it is a thing to be proud of. I am especially proud of this woman. And now, that being said, let us break down this DM and let's try to digest it as quickly and as swiftly as possible. Let's start with the fact that this her ex husband has a lot of audacity. Let me tell you the honest truth. I need men to begin to be honest about where they get the audacity from. Because me specifically, I definitely want to buy. If I see where men sell audacity, I am going to buy it. And I'm going to buy it in bulk. Because what the hell? Wow. No, seriously, her husband is like, this man should be a case study. Unfortunately, if that is the case, then a lot of Nigerian men should be case studies. Let's start with the fact that 10 years of marriage and no child. And see, because nothing you can tell me, this man knew he was the problem. He knew he was the problem. Because if he did not know, he would not have been avoiding this test for a very long time. Let's say that 10 years of marriage, no child, and you knew you were the problem. And for one day, you did not even say, oh, let me come clean with my wife. But instead, you started making the woman feel bad. You joined your family in making this woman feel bad. You even went as far as insulting her and calling her infertile on multiple occasions when you're the infertile one. If that is not audacity on steroids, I don't know what it is. Your wife moves abroad and brings you in to join her abroad. And instead of you to find a way to be productive, instead of you to find a way to make yourself useful, you decide that you want to go outside and start dating other women. Not only that, also trying to impregnate other women when you can't even get a fish pregnant. Isn't that ridiculous? Like, this story, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm all out of reactions. I feel like I am not reacting to this story the way I need to react to this story. The way the story is making my blood to boil. I feel like that is how I need to react to it. But I'm trying to be in my demure season, so I'm not gonna do that. But girl, let's be honest, good riddance to bad rubbish. Because what the hell? You know you're infertile. You go run a test with your wife and find out that you're infertile. Because let's just even give him an excuse that okay, he didn't know that he was infertile before. And now you know you're infertile. And your own reaction to that is instead of getting multiple opinions, which maybe, of course, maybe he did, you shall decide that you want to go and suffer other people's daughters and try to impregnate one. As if that is not outside, as if that is not enough. You don't have money, bro. Uncle, you don't have money, but you still want to cheat. You still want to impregnate someone else. And you went ahead to rent your girlfriend an apartment and you furnished the apartment. You were buying things in the apartment with your wife's credit card. Is that how you used to do? Hey, wow. My only happiness is that the wife found out of the situation, did not waste any time dilly-dallying, overthinking, trying to rationalize, trying to convince herself to stay in one form or the other, trying to excuse such terrible behavior. Instead, my sis took action and filed for divorce straight away, kicked him out so that he can go live with his other pimpering, and did what? She left that situation, and in 2 months, she was in a new relationship and she was pregnant. See, the message in this DM for me is women, you need to know when it is time to go. How many minutes was this? You need to know when it's time to leave that situation, sis. You need to know when it is time to leave people's lives. Do not overstay your welcome in people's lives. And I'm saying this out of experience. I think one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in this life is overstay my welcome in someone's life. When I say this, I'm not talking about relationships. This applies to every part of your life. Marriage, relationship, businesses, friendship, partnerships, any ship at all. You need to know when it is time to go. Because guess what? If this good sis did not know when it was time to leave that horrible man and that terrible marriage, she would still be there. Chances of her finding out that the infertility issue was not her own would have been slim to none. Of course, medically speaking, she would know. But deep down, as long as that man did not go get tested, she would not be certain. 2, she would not have known that her husband was infertile. 3, she would not have known the joys of motherhood. She would not have known that she could carry a child. And guess what? Because the husband was infertile, she would probably not carry any child. You really can't tell how far and how wide and how beautiful you will blossom if you keep staying in a bad situation. And I am of the school of thought that when you stay where you're not wanted and you keep trying to allow people manage you, You don't ever truly blossom into your full potential, and you also don't give God the room to bless you the way He needs to bless you. My message to women today with this DM is, please know when you have overstayed your welcome and go. Because what is this? To be quite honest, like, this DM shocked me. And of course, I know that I have heard it all, I have seen it all most of the times, but I keep getting surprised. When I feel like I can't be surprised anymore with anybody's antics, I keep getting surprised. This is ridiculous. Anyway, in my book A Language of Flowers, I talked about some of the reasons why women often stay in situations that they should be out of. I think I'm just going to subtly touch on it, but if you would like more thoughts on this, you should grab my book A Language of Flowers. Now, in a part of my book A Language of Flowers, I talked about the fact that from time immemorial, right? I don't know if I'll say it's society, I don't know if I'll say it's upbringing, but I'm sure we've all heard this thing where we hear that men respond to respect. You hear things like, oh, you should respect your husband. Men love respect. If you don't respect them, it bruises their egos. They don't like it, blah, 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 blah. A man can stop loving you because you stop respecting him, and so much more. And then we heard this part where everything about women are just love, 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 love. Oh, women want a man that will love them, will just like love this, love that, love this. And because of that, we've always prioritized love as women. And I want us to remember today that love is an emotion, and emotions are not reliable, they change. This is probably going to be an unpopular opinion. And I'm not saying don't look for love, or always look for love, but please always back up your love with something more sturdy. Love is an emotion, it is fleeting, it is fickle, it is not reliable, it is unsteady. And I'm speaking of this as it applies to humans. Somebody can say they love you today and tomorrow they no longer love you. Have you seen divorced couples, how they move? They used to be in love. You would not believe how madly in love those people used to be. They used to be in love. But I urge women to move the way men move when it comes to relationships and marriages as well. Men will prioritize respect over love. In fact, for men, sometimes respect might be the foundation of their love. While women were all about love, 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 romance, 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 please make respect a foundation, right? If you love yourself the way you should love yourself, respect is going to be the basis of love for you. If someone doesn't respect you, even in the smallest, even in the most minute, and again, this is not limited to relationships alone. If someone does not respect you, it is your duty to take yourself out of that situation or out of that equation with speed. Always choose respect where you should choose love, because with respect, love, see, respect is a very big deal, and I can't really break this down enough in this episode because this is going to be one long episode if I do. But I urge you to go read my book, A Language of Flower. It's going to share more light and it's going to give you more details on this, right? And it's going to give you more insight into what I mean by this. It's quite detailed. I broke everything down. But anyways, shout out to you, sis. Thank you for leaving such a situation. Thank you for having the courage and the strength to move when you needed to move. You go, girl. Because honestly, it's not easy to see somebody that moves on 2 months with speed, 2 months after, and the whole thing. Honestly, sis, anywhere you sell this courage to move on with speed lights, I want to buy. But I'm going to leave you guys with this message before I go, because this tea is getting cold. Our enemies are our footstool. Honestly, sometimes they will guide you into your blessings because this your husband's misogynistic wahala guided you into your blessing. Now you're in a beautiful relationship and you're blossoming, and now you have a child. Shout out to you, sis. Honestly, I want to say that your story is heartening and inspiring, and also I applaud you for sharing. I really, really applaud you for sharing, because when I read this story, my first feeling was rage. I was so enraged. Because why are you going outside to try for a child when all you have to do is just conduct a fertility test, for goodness sake? Anyway, I would like to hear your thoughts on this episode. I want to hear your thoughts on this woman's DM. Share your feelings. Men, if you're watching this, Please come and tell me why your fellow gender man would rather go outside to turn people's daughters into test rats rather than actually go get a fertility test. Also, please let us know why so much lying, and also, please, why so much audacity. Honestly, I would really like to know. You'll be very surprised at how many women actually go through this. It's so crazy. I remember one time a woman commented under one of my posts on Instagram where she talked about how she was supposed to get married to a guy 2 years ago, and she told him that they needed to get fertility tests before she was going to marry him. And she wasn't even saying that to mean that the guy alone had to get the test. She was saying that to mean they, which means both of them, had to go get tested before they get married, because she don't want to hear those kind of stories, right? She didn't want to hear any stories and all that stuff. Guess what? The guy refused. And mind you, while she was even telling him this, she had already gone to do her own. Her own came out good. She just wanted him to go do his own so they can have their results and sit on it. But the guy kept refusing, right? And of course, as typical women, most times after refusing, he had to create a fight. Now, after everything, they still had to fight, right? Sis was not having it all. Because she also said she would book appointment with him. She would book an appointment for him at different clinics, on different occasions, online, offline. This man will still refuse to show. You would not believe how many women go through this issue. He will refuse to show up, and he will give a good reason for not showing up. He won't give a good reason for not showing up, is what I mean. He will not give a good reason for not showing up. But instead, he will decide to fight her and keep malice with her for weeks. What kind of thing is that? Anyway, at the end, sis concluded that he was infertile and he knew it, so she had to end it. Some men are very, very, very selfish. Anyway, I'm just happy that women in my community are not, they're not women that waste time. They're not women that keep trying to figure it out with you. They are women that take precise action. If you're not coming forward, if you're not coming through, if you're not standing on business, sis is going to let you go. And I just want to use this as an excuse, or should I say, I just want to use this moment to shout out to the women in my community. Shout out to all the women in the Jen and Juggle community. You guys are the real MVP, and you do not understand. I don't think you understand the extent and the depth to which you guys inspire me every single day with your little actions, with your comments, with your life experiences, with your activeness, with your insanely huge amount of self-awareness. I love this. I love it so much. Thank you guys for being so awesome, really. Because honestly speaking, I keep saying it that it's not an easy thing for a Nigerian woman to live in marriage. This is one of the reasons why every time women are the first to file for divorce, I know that sis has seen enough shaking. And of course, I would always tell women that society is always on the side of men. There is nothing you will do that will allow them to give you the same grace that they give to men. A man can file for divorce, everybody will do, oh, I know one will question him before next week he's married if he wants to. But guess what? It's different for women. Everybody has to start cooking up all sorts of bull and crap story as to why the woman filed for divorce and so many other things, trying to scatter her name, tarnish her name, etc., etc. Example, look at AY and Mabel. If you've worked in the industry, you know what was going on there. The Shege Pro Max she's seen. You know what she has been through. And the one time this woman, after over 22 years, decides that she's done, everyone comes out to start telling stupid stories, trying to tarnish her image of how she was sleeping with someone or had a sugar daddy or this or that or that. Really? Are we talking about the same Mabel? The woman that is so in her bag, you can't even see the bottom of it? I will tell women, do you, and please always prioritize your happiness, because nobody's going to go out of their way to make you happy. Prioritize your happiness. Society will be okay, whether you cry, whether you laugh, either way, they're going to say something about you. Please remove yourself from that situation that is not deserving of you. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode. It's your girl Tasha, and another episode is coming out next week. We drop new podcast episodes every week. So look out for my long form content. Please always look out for new podcast episodes every Thursday. I upload every Thursday. Unfailingly, my long form content every Thursday on YouTube and your favorite streaming platforms. And my short form YouTube videos, my YouTube shorts are out every single day of the week. I'll see you guys at the next episode.